I wanted to go to bed early. I really wanted to go to bed early, and I can't. There's too much going on. So Carl suggested that maybe I hold off a little bit because wait till November 3rd. And there's one more loading after this one. He said, because that's when the Antichrist will be revealed. Well, let's take a look at that. Forget how I'm going to formulate it, the search. "1,260 days, the Antichrist will be revealed." I think that's in Daniel, isn't it? 1,260 days, book of Daniel.
According to Wikipedia, historicist interpreters have usually understood that times and half a time, 1,260 days, and 42 months, mentioned in Daniel and Revelation to be references to represent a period of 1,260 years.
1,260 years, watch your mouth, Stokes. Lord will clean up your mouth, by the way. You won't sit around cussing. You won't be a cusser. All right, so it's 1,260 days at Daniel 7:25. Let's try to get full context on this. That's not where 1,260 is. 1,260 days Bible verse. Sorry, if I can't find it quickly, I'll pause. All right. It talks about the 1,260 days. The woman fled into the wilderness. It literally would mean that the third temple is already established. If that was going, if Carl was right, and that it began on May 23rd. So literally, he would have to die and rise 3 days later after Halloween or whatever, whatever is going to happen, would have to come pretty quickly. And election day would actually be, of course, if he got shot, election day would be postponed, obviously. And there he would be, alive in the temple. 3 days later is what Carl is saying, if that all fits, because he would be revealed. Does it say that he is revealed in the third day? I mean, after 1,260 days. Hang on a second. Let me try to figure this out. Okay. See, I thought maybe in my world, all of that doesn't come until after World War III, because we have to get war, famine, death to 1/4 of the earth. See, that blows away what I've been thinking for the longest time. So I'm not sure that was confirming the covenant with many for 1 week, even though it checks a lot of boxes. Because it says, in the midst of that week, shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week, beginning on May 3rd, 2017, allegedly, right? He shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. Well, the midst of that week would be on election day this year, where he would have had a deadly wound but did live. And then the vaccine would be the mark, because he would have declared himself to be God standing in the holy place. And the military would be, but see, there's all type of supernatural lying signs and wonders that comes with that. And God will send them a strong delusion that they will believe a lie. In other words, everybody's going to fall for it. It's not a trick. Vaccine's not a trick. And I teach that vehemently. Mark of the beast, knowing for sure all the things that have to be taking place. And in my opinion, you have to have rider on the white horse receive his crown as corona. Check. That took place October 2nd. Next seal, red horse, war. Well, that hasn't started yet. Famine. That hasn't started yet. And death to 1/4 of the earth due to the war and the famine. No. And then I foresaw him coming to save the day. Save the world from global warming. Save the world from... So I don't think... What does in the midst of that week mean? Let's go Daniel 9:27. Let's go to Blue Letter Bible. Does the midst mean exactly in the middle? That the man of sin will be revealed. Man of sin will be revealed, Bible verse.
According to Wikipedia, in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verses 3 to 10, the man of sin is described as...
It's all 2 Thessalonians 2. It always is. That's what you got to go by. Big time. And Matthew 24 and Revelation 13 and Daniel 7. Beseech you, brethren, coming to the Lord Jesus Christ, gathering together, be not shaken, troubled in mind, and the spirit of the day of the Christ at hand. Let no man deceive by any means. That day shall not come, except there be a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth. So, yeah, that's when he's revealed in the midst of the week. And all's Daniel 9:27 is saying, and in the midst of the week shall cause the sacrifice of oblation to cease, they will spread him abominable and make it desolate, even unto the consumption that be determined. Make it desolate. We're going to find out. We're going to have to find out once and for all what that word midst means in the midst of that week. Because the sheep could begin right in the middle and prophesying, and he could begin World War III and beginning, his torment, his reign. But as far as the abomination that causes desolation, that happens in the midst. So what does "and in the midst" mean? Hebrew 2:677. Half, middle. So yeah, if he dies very shortly, he will be right there in the temple immediately. And that's when the war, death, and famine. So this is what I would have to change in my mind and get straight if that's the case, because that's not the way I saw it. I saw him dying, martial law, war, famine, death, and then and after 2 billion people died, he would return to save the day. And behold, the pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed him, and all that kind of stuff. What the option that we're looking at is he just received his crown as corona. The blue moon, he's going to take the pop, the clone will, in between the first and second seal. Because when he opens the second seal, power is gone from the earth. See, when the Antichrist comes, that the abomination causes desolation. From what I always saw, to unify the earth. From everything I understood, God will send them a strong delusion. They're all going to want the mark. Everybody's going to want the mark. So is that not the confirming the covenant with many for 1 week? Is all these peace agreements confirming the covenant? And that falls more into the timeline that I thought. Because he won't, when that week begins, see, whenever the first peace agreement was, I had World War III lasting a couple years and him coming back around 2022, 2023. Okay. Or what day did Israel officially became the capital of
Jerusalem is the capital of Israel.
Okay, try again.
According to Israel Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in the days that David reigned over Israel were 40 years.
Try again. I goofed up. What day did Jerusalem become the capital of Israel?
According to Wikipedia, on December 6, 2017, President Trump formally recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and stated that the American embassy would be moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
Carl's timeline's off, that's all. And it ain't no offense to Carl, because Carl's the one that began the study with us. All right. When you take that date, December 6, 2017, and you add the 1,260 days, that gives, now you got the No Time to Die release date of April. What is it? Release date of James Bond, No Time to Die. I think it's like April 4th or something, April 2nd. No Time to Die because he's coming back. Possibly. Again, this is all speculation. We're just thinking out loud here, folks. And I'm always welcoming your thoughts. It just has to match the Bible, that's all. So that gives time for him to get shot very soon. And 2 billion people die. In a 6-month period, you would have war, death, and famine of 2 billion people. And they're talking about this hard winter. Biden said it. They said it was all over the news today. They said this is going to be a wet winter. Hang on. So it's going to be one dark winter, maybe. All morning long on the news, they have been saying it's going to be a dark winter. A friend told me. My friend Lori. I cut her name out of it, but I posted it today. So they're going to kill 2. Now, when they cut off the electricity and everything, everybody up north that doesn't, a lot of, they're going, because what they do with this weather, they're going to freeze it, people in Russia, Europe, the Midwest in America, the Northeast. So many people they're just going to freeze to death. Starve, freeze, bombs, tsunamis, earthquakes. I mean, it's going to be all out. It's going to be nuts. But it's not going to be nuts for years like I was thinking. It's going to be nuts possibly. Again, I'm not sure I'm not dogmatic about any of this, but it could be as soon as six months or so. Right? Yeah, May 19th. And then you go to count days. Let's just say he goes down on October 28th. Or the full moon. We just don't know. I don't know. What was that other date that we gave? It was May 19th. (2021). Be 203 days when the martial law would begin after the Trump assassination. Martial law would go about 2 and 3 weeks deep, and then the wars would begin. In my opinion, that's how I saw it. By the middle of November. By December, you're in all-out World War III. And what kind of winter was it? A dark winter. It's what Biden talked about. Can you kill 2 billion people in 203 days? Well, be less than that. Because I don't think World War III would get going. That's that next blood red moon's right around November 30th. 29th and 30th. Can you kill 2 billion people in 170 days? You sure can. You can do it with that, turning up that technology too. Those towers. What would you put in front of the word tower? Cell. ... phone. ... 5. ... G. It's a directed energy weapon. They could be killing people with that too. So they can. People get the toxicity. Electromagnetic field. Of course, it's more than that. It's millimeter waves. You won't be able to, well, what was it called? Hashtag I can't breathe. That's what they say it'll do. So, yeah. And then later on, it will double as a way to, of course. But God will send them a strong delusion. God, is it really all going to go down as soon as 2021? That would be in the midst of the year, wouldn't it? It sure would. And then at some point, Jesus would return 2022-ish. Wow. Or no flesh would be saved. He would come early. But I know there's Bible verses that speak of different timelines and numbers, and it has to match. So that's not my strong suit. I can tell you that, as far as when he would return, because we're not supposed to know the hour of the day, and yet there's specific days in Daniel given, and very clueless when it comes to that kind of stuff. I have just not been called to figuring all that out. Carl seems to be better at that from me. So he'll watch this video and he'll help us out. Anyway, love y'all. I got to get some sleep.